on YouTube. Okay, application of radicals. So all we're doing is we're taking all the knowledge that we have of a lot of things, and we're going to use our radical knowledge to solve for some problems. Okay, so an artist creates a pattern similar to the one shown. Oh, this is so shaky. To the one shown. But he frames an equilateral triangle. What do we know about equilateral triangles?
Same length.
All the same side lengths. Inside a square instead of a circle. So let's just draw a pretty picture. Ooh, can't even really see my pretty picture. The area of the square is 32 centimeters squared. So what do we know about the square? What do we know about the square? What do we know about squares in general? All the sides are the same. Do we know what the side length is of the square? Did it tell us that in the question? No, it didn't. So what are we going to say it is? Square root of 32, because we know that this would be x, and because it's a square, both sides would be x, right? Like the length and the width would be the same length, so we can use the same letter. Okay, so we know, oh, sweet. We know that the area formula, area for a square, or area for any rectangle, is
Length times width.
Thank you. Area is equal to length times width. We know our area is 2. We know our length is x. And we know our width is x. So we're going to have 32x squared. Pranchu was there long before we were. I want to just get the side length. So what would be the side length? How do we just get x by itself? No, rooted. We're going to square root both sides. So we're going to have x equals the root of 32. So I just want to point out some language in this question. I had a highlighter. Exact perimeter, exact height. So you're going to see the word exact an awful lot. So what that means is that I don't want you to put in your calculator the root of 32 and get a decimal. Because if I do that in my calculator, if I do the square root of 32, I get an irrational number. Do you guys remember what irrational numbers are? Never ends, never repeats. Like there's no pattern in it. So the calculator, I don't know if it actually ended in a 9 or if it rounded it up, but it looks like it continues for a very long time. So this is, we have to leave it as a root, okay? So when it says exact, I'm asking you to leave your answer in radical form, okay? That is going to be a lot of the things that we do in grade 12. I'm going to ask for exact perimeter. You're going to leave it as a radical, or you're going to leave it as a fraction. You're not going to convert it to a decimal. Okay, so with that being said, can we simplify 32?
Yes.
What's it going to be? Okay, so when we talk about simplifying, I'm looking for the factors of 32
16 and 8.
that have perfect squares in them.
Yes.
Okay, so we could go 4 and 8, because 4 is the perfect square. But we can go one more than that. We can go 16
And 2.
and 2. 9 doesn't go in there. That would have had to have been 36. No, there's other factors. I could have used...
Oh, yeah, where's counting?
Yeah, you wrote 36.
Sorry. Then Jonah, you were on, that was my fault. I apologize.
I just
True story. So there are other values. They're like 1 and 32 and stuff like that. But all I'm really concerned about is the perfect squares. So this one's a perfect square and that one's a perfect square. But you guys know from 5.1, our very first lesson, I'm going to use the largest perfect square. So I'm going to use this set right here. So I'm going to take the perfect square, the root of the perfect square times by the root of the other factors. So we would have 4 root 2.
Would that be B?
Pardon?
Like, would that be like for question B?
No, we're still in question A.
Oh,
Yeah.
How is the perimeter, just the area?
No, what did we just find? We just found the value of x, which is the side length, right?
Yep.
And we need that to find the perimeter. So what we know now is that it was x, but now we actually know each side is 4 root 2. I guess I should get rid of the x's because we know what they are now. Okay, so now we can answer this question. What's the perimeter? What's the exact perimeter of this square?
4
Yeah, how many of those do we have? So
4
really,
times root 2 times
okay,
4.
somebody already answered, Rahat. You weren't fast enough. You were loud, but you weren't fast enough. Okay, so really what we're doing for perimeter is we're adding up all the sides. So 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2. Now, you could have said, hey, I have 4 of the exact same things, and I'm going to go 4 times 4 root 2, because that's going to give you the same answer. Multiplication is just repeated addition. Repeated multiplication is just an exponent. It's all linked together. So what's my perimeter? 16 root 2. And what are my units? Centimeters.
Miss Callie, how come we end up with, I get 4 times 4 equals to 16, but then I do the root.
What?
But nothing, never mind.
Okay. So are we okay with that? Okay, perfect. That's A. So now we're going to look at B. B says, what is the exact height of the triangle? What is the exact height of the triangle? Yep. Oh, the triangle? Not the square? No. Okay. Guys, I made a mistake. Again, it's a good thing you guys use pencil. We're doing the perimeter of the triangle. Triangle. Oh, and I even underlined the same thing. Triangle. So really, this means this is 4 root 2, and this is 4 root 2. So what do I got to do here? I got to back this up. Just take one side off. This would be 3, so that will be 12. And it's like it never happened.
Dude, I literally wrote in a pen.
Dude, you should do your math in pencil.
I also wrote with a pen.
But did you have an erasable pen? No? Oh, that's a toughie.
Dude, that's not.
Okay, exact height. So when we talk about height of a triangle, we're talking about the vertical height. So that's straight up and down. So we are looking for
4 root 2 base times height divided by 2.
what? We're looking for the height of the triangle. I'm looking to find that. So you gave me the area formula, which isn't gonna be super helpful because we don't know what the area of the triangle is yet, because we need the height. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this equilateral triangle. We know that everything is 4 root 2. And we're trying to find the vertical height. Okay,
How do you find the vertical height?
that's what we're trying to do.
Something divided by 2.
No, that's the area. We're no, it is. Okay, so any thoughts? Maybe if I do this, Would this make more sense?
No.
That's 4 divided by 2, and you use
Based
the
on Pythagorean
Pythagorean
theorem.
theorem.
Still an area.
Shut up.
No matter how many times you guys say that.
Pythagorean
Shut up. He just told you to shut up.
Not you, I said Jonah.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
So this vertical height bisects the triangle. Do you guys know what bisects means?
We family friendly.
It means to cut it in half. I'll just ask you guys to leave actually, because I like the people who are away would actually like this video. So if you guys can't handle it, I'll just ask this crew to leave, and those who want to sit in here and do the math can. So when this bisects means to cut in half into 2 equal halves, right? So if I cut this in half, I need to know what this length is here. What's half of 4 root 2?
2 root 1.
2 root 2.
Right? We're cutting it in half, so we're dividing it by 2. We know that we're going to divide those coefficients, so this would be 2 root 2. Okay, you get a right angle triangle. How can I find the exact length of the other side? Pythagorean theorem. It won't give us exact values, because you're going to do, let's say, cosine of 60 in there, and then you'll end up getting a decimal. So we want to stay away from the trig ratios, although good strategy. It's that exact value that is causing the problem. Okay, so everybody knows that 4 root 2 is the hypotenuse, because it's directly across from the right angle, and that would be the c squared of Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so we did this in solving equations yesterday. This has to square the coefficient. So we're going to have 4 times 2 plus b squared equals 16 times 2. So 8 equals b squared, 32. So minus 8 from both sides. Square root both sides. Can I simplify root 24?
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah, simplify, yes.
Would it be 6?
And?
4.
Yes. So if I'm looking at the factors of 24, 4 and 6, are there any other perfect squares that go into 24?
No.
Like 9? No. 25, we're too big already, right? So this is as good as it gets. So b is equal to the root of 4 times by the root of 6, which is 2 root 6. And so that's the exact height of the triangle. We should, yes. I have left myself no room for part C.
You see it?
I do.
No, I can move over here. I can do it in this little section over here. So C says, what is the exact area of the triangle? So all of you crazy fools who were so excited to give me that area formula, what's the area formula of a triangle? So our base of the triangle, and we're going back to the full triangle. So we're going back to the base of the full triangle, which was 4 root 2. So area is equal to 4 root 2 times the height, which we just found. I'm going to use brackets. 2 root 6 divided by 2. So we multiply the coefficients. What do I get? 8. And then I get root 12 divided by 2. Area is equal to 4 root 12. Can I simplify 12? What is it?
3 and 4.
Yeah, 2 root 3, 4 and 3 is what I was looking for. But if we look at 12, we're going to get that 4 and 3 combination because 4 is the perfect square. So we're going to have area is equal to 4 because that's my coefficient. Root 4 times root 3. So 4 times 2 times root 3. So area is equal to 8 root 3 centimeters squared. Could you have done that one on your own?
No.
Yeah.
I think you probably could have. Like, all of those things you've seen before, but this was kind of putting it all together. Okay, so when it says exact values, I want you to leave it in radical form. I don't want decimals. Fractions are also considered exact values, like 1/3 is an exact value. You don't want 0.33333 repeating. Okay. Oh, I meant to take this one out. What do you need to know? You need to know something. Because this you can't do without trig. You know what? We're not going to do example 2 because you need to have knowledge of the unit circle from grade 12 to do the exact values of it. You need to know that it's root 2 over 2 for the 30, but we don't know that. Okay, so we're going to skip example 2
One.
because I just said you needed knowledge of the unit circle, which you don't have. Okay? All right, nice and easy formula work. So for those of you taking stats next year, well, for those of you taking any math course next year, your ability to use algebra and manipulate it and solve for various parts of it is huge. So being able to just work a formula that you've never ever seen before is huge. I give you lots of formulas, especially in the logarithms, that you need to apply your knowledge to. You may have never seen that formula before. So just emotionally prepare for those things. But you have all the energy have all the skills that you need. Okay, EK represents the kinetic energy, 1/2 mv, where m is the mass in kilograms and v represents the speed. I'm guessing it's velocity in meters per second. So what is the speed? So what are we solving for? What's the speed? We're looking for v. We're looking for the letter V. We're trying to solve for the letter V. The mass of the football is 0.4 kilograms, and it has 28.8 joules of kinetic energy. So go ahead and fill in where you think all those numbers go into the formula.
I don't know.
Bro.
Bro.
What's EK? EK is your kinetic energy. What number is going to go where the EK goes? Right.
Like what formula?
The one that's given in the equation, Beth. EK equals 1/2 m times v squared.
Dion help and
Shut up.
You told me to shut up to that.
That's not very nice.
I think it was a year actually.
To me, again, there's only so much of this I can take. So for those of us who actually attempted it and did it, hopefully you put in the numbers in the correct places. So being able to look at a formula, reading all the words in it, which I'm not really great at, and putting them in the right places. So first of all, I know I'm solving for V, it's the only letter left. So I want to isolate V by itself. I want to get V all alone on, probably keep it on the right-hand side. Are we good with that? I just did the multiplying there. We're all okay with that? So I'm going to divide out the 0.2. have to do it to both sides. So this doesn't say anything about exact values in this one. So it's just actually the act of using a root. So you can get something harder, like the example number 1, or you can get something pretty easy like this where we're just substituting it in. So I want v by itself. I don't want a v squared. We just did this with Pythagorean theorem. Now I need a units of measure on this. Meters per second. It even states that in the question. So the velocity of a ball, of a 0.4 kilogram football traveling at 28.8 joules of kinetic energy is traveling at 12 meters per second. I don't even really, is that fast? I feel like that's fast.
12 times 3.6 equals to 43 kilometers per hour.
That's fast.
That is fast.
You're fast.
Okay, so that's really it. It's using all your skills and your knowledge and applying it to different situations.